IATA. Am I the butthole? But it's not butthole. This is a format that's been going around social media for these past couple years, and today I want to go and react to some of them. I have compiled 3 stories that I have not read before, and I'm going to be reading it along with you. And at the end of the day, together as a collective, we are going to get to the bottom of the mystery on whether or not the people who made these posts are the a-holes. The assholes. Alright, we're adults here. I'm going to say asshole. If you got a problem with it, you're the asshole. But let's get into it. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my daughter another phone and ruining her life? The one thing I've got to say about these stories, they've always got just the best hook, because they always seem like, yeah, you're most definitely the a-hole. But at the same time, it's not always how it seems to appear. I have a daughter, 14 female, and she's pretty clumsy, as they tend to be, with their, young minds not understanding that things break easily. Stupid kids. We bought her an iPhone 13 Pro just a couple years ago. She broke hers just months after getting it, and thankfully, we had Apple Care and managed to get it repaired. Now she again broke her phone, this time after it accidentally fell off her hand at a friend's house while she was playing a video game. The phone is too badly damaged now. She's begging for an iPhone 15, as they tend to. And let me tell you something, the iPhone 15, just, wow. Fantastic. I don't think it's uncommon that people, once their phone breaks, you replace it. But so far, you've broken 2 phones, I'm not getting you an iPhone 15. So far, you're leaning towards not the asshole. Unfortunately, it's no longer covered by insurance, meaning we will have to buy a new phone. We just spent a lot of money on a gaming PC and an iPad for her 14th birthday. I don't really want to spend more money on electronics and smartphones for her especially. A new iPhone would cost $1,000, so she's a gamer child. God help you. That's so much money is all I've got to say about that. I wouldn't know. I don't have a computer. She's also broken it once already, and I feel I'll be rewarding this behavior if I buy another phone, as she seems to be clumsy. I made a deal with her that if she keeps her iPad for a year without breaking it, I'll buy her a new phone the next year. That seems pretty reasonable, right? I mean, once you break 2 phones, I think you're already on strike 2. Once you get to strike 3, you're out. No iPhone for you. She's now complaining that I'm going too far and that I'm quote-unquote ruining her life and that she needs an iPhone. She does still have a smartphone, but she complains about it being too slow and a bad camera. She's currently using her sister's old Remedy Note 11. It's working well, but it isn't as cool as her iPhone. What is a Redmi, R-E-D-M-I Note 11? I have never heard of that brand ever, so that means it's bad. If it's not Apple, it's bad. But I'm wondering if I should get her another iPhone, and if I'm going too far with the punishment. Am I the asshole? Edit. I got a comment about why I didn't get my older daughter an iPhone, as we both got them iPhones around the same time. The reason I got her a low-end phone was she didn't want an iPhone. We got her an Apple Pencil for her iPad and a nice telescope along with the phone for her birthday at that time. Alright, so everything's here. All the pieces are here. And the consensus, I think, is pretty unanimous. You are not the asshole. I think this is a perfectly reasonable path to go down, especially once, the person you're buying something for already breaks 2 devices. 2 multi-$100 devices. So, not the asshole. Congratulations. You are not the asshole. But will the next person be the asshole? I, 26 female, love hosting parties for my family. I'm usually the one in charge of Christmas, and most birthdays are celebrated at my home. I love doing nice and elaborate parties. I usually plan a menu, make everything from scratch, decorate. For Christmas, I start doing Secret Santa, and depending on the event, even some games or karaoke. Okay, so you like hosting parties. You seem to be going above and beyond, so, props to you. I would never. I'm not that caring. Before I started doing this, my family used to do pretty normal events. Just one meal, like a basic barbecue, buying pizza, additional food, and buying a cake for dessert. Never decorated, and the parties were just about showing up, eating, and leaving. There was nothing wrong with that, but I love Christmas, so about 4 years ago, I decided I was going to host for once, and did it as I mentioned. Everyone loved it and were praising me for everything. With the years, I've definitely improved my cooking and party planning skills, and honestly, I'm very proud of what I do. They liked it so much they even started asking me for some birthdays, if I could host a party as a gift for them, and I happily did. It's important to mention that my main family is only 9 or 10 people, so it's not too much for me to handle or too expensive. But then you run into the problem. You give a mouse a cookie, they'll want another cookie. And then eventually, I don't know how that book goes. The mouse ended up with like a rocket ship or something? I don't know. Point being, they will always be expecting more, so you're already in a pretty bad position. Now to the issue. The last parties I've been hosting, which were the last Christmas, my mom's uncle and aunt's birthdays, and my husband's birthday as the most recent, they have gotten what I consider a nasty attitude. How dare they? Maybe they're the assholes. Maybe that's the point of this Reddit. For example, I would send proper invites clearly stating that my party would start at 3:30 p.m. Well, they would show up at 12 p.m. and comment how I wasn't ready. For my husband's party, they saw that the decorations were halfway done and started asking why the food wasn't ready. I had told them that it was an early dinner, but I decided to show up without having eaten lunch, and to just give up with the decorations and start cooking food because I was being rude by letting them be hungry. There's nothing worse than when somebody shows up to a party early. It's incredibly uncomfortable because you're still typically cleaning or doing whatever, and then they're just sitting there, and you try to make conversation, and they just sit there, stare. I hate early people. They have done the same in all the other events. Show up early, shame me for not being ready, eat, and leave. That leads to yesterday, when I was talking to my mom and asked me what was I planning for Christmas this year. As I said, I wasn't planning anything since I had told them the last time I didn't like their attitude, and I was done. That led to a fight about how I can't, quote-unquote, take a joke, and I should instead, quote-unquote, learn to take help and accommodate to our family. I've said this before in past videos. Once you start going with the can't take a joke, it's just a joke, it means that you're backed up into a corner. These are people that are clearly desperate for some fun at a house that isn't theirs, with a party that they don't have to plan, and a party that they don't have to clean up afterwards. The argument led to nothing, but has left me wondering, am I really the asshole here? My husband is on my side, but I'd like some unbiased opinions. They have offered help before, and I'd let them, but never do as I ask. For example, last Christmas I was making an apple crumble. They offered help, so I asked them to just peel the apples and specifically told them not to cut them since I liked them sliced in a very specific way. Also, to only peel the green ones since the red was for a charcuterie table. Ooh, good on me for reading that correctly. They peeled all of them and cut them into cubes. They are terrible people. Cubes. You should always go with triangles. When I got annoyed, they called me dramatic and that it was better their way. I stopped letting them help because they always thought they knew better. So instead I asked them to sit and have a drink, and had snacks prepared in case I got delayed. What is this? What is this, preschool? Give them like a Capri Sun? Now they show up even too early for me to have the drinks and snacks ready. Okay, you are not the asshole in this situation. You clearly just have some ungrateful people in your family. My condolences, but to make this sure, I think I've read enough. You are certified not the asshole. Not the asshole. We're 0 for 2 right now when it comes to assholes, but maybe this next one is the one that does it in. There's only one way to find out. Am I the asshole for focusing on my son instead of my daughter? Okay, now this one's gonna be good. I can just feel it. I feel it in my fingers and in my soul. This one's gonna be chock full of something. I, 41 male, am married to my wife, Lisa, 45 female. We have 2 kids, Jenny and George, fake names, 16 and 14. Yesterday, I had a work conference almost 4 hours away, and apparently missed a large fight. When I got home, there was a very large dent in the roof of my wife's car. Okay, anger issues. So this is already, First of all, congrats on the incredible feat of strength. Second of all, why? Why the car? There's nothing wrong with kicking the curb of the sidewalk. It helps relieve the stress a little bit. Don't go for the car. That stuff is so painful and expensive to get rid of. I asked what happened, and I was told that George's medal hit it, so he had been grounded. I was confused because George thinks of his medals like his babies, and so turned to him and asked what happened. Lisa told me to let Jenny speak first since she wasn't the one who dented the car. I disagreed and asked for George to explain. George told me that it was Jenny who threw his medal out the window, and Jenny shouted that there was context. George also started shouting that no amount of context made things better, and she didn't get to touch all of his things. I told them both to go to their rooms so I could talk to Lisa. George was still mad, saying that Lisa had only asked Jenny what happened, but went to his room. Okay, so we got some sibling rivalry. I'm assuming this is because of, attention-seeking behavior. Who knows? Who knows? Somebody's got to fix that car, though. Lisa told me that Jenny went into George's room, looked to borrow his headphones. George did not want to give Jenny his headphones, but agreed. Then Jenny asked where they were, at which point George called her a bunch of rude names, and told her that she should look for them herself. Jenny proceeded to do that, and found a drawer of his medals, and then decided to tease him by dangling them out of the window, but George tried to stop her. It fell out. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. I think Jenny's just an absolute terrible child. She's being a real asshole right now. Maybe Jenny was the asshole the entire time. I asked why Jenny had not been grounded, and Lisa argued that it was his stuff and that he was responsible for it. I didn't agree with this argument, but tensions were high, so I decided to go talk to George instead, since I guess he'd been hurting. Okay, so the mom's also an asshole. That makes no sense. If I grabbed somebody's phone off the street, I threw it at somebody like, not that I would ever. Let's say I threw it at a police officer. You know who's getting arrested? I'm getting arrested. Not the guy whose phone I just threw. That doesn't make any sense. The mom is devoid of logic, and I think it's a genetic trait. George told me his own versions of events, which sounded a bit more believable, and I spent about an hour comforting about his medals and that no, Lisa was not playing favorites, and yes, he can keep his stuff. This morning, Lisa told me that I should spend an equal amount of time with both children to dispel the favoritism idea, and I was an asshole for not talking to Jenny as well. I don't know. Am I the asshole? No, okay, then no. The answer is no. Also, Jenny is 16 and George is 14. This is an older, first of all, somebody that should know better, and you don't start dangling medals and then, throwing them. So no, you're not the asshole in this situation. At the same time, I feel like the mom is the biggest asshole in this entire story because she is an adult. She is 45 years old. So at that point, logic should come first into the mind of a parent, and you should automatically see that, hey, maybe I raised a little monster, and maybe that monster is my daughter, and not my son. I don't know. I don't know if that's a crazy thought. Maybe it is. Maybe I shouldn't have children. Suffice it to say, out of all these stories, I don't see one asshole. Actually, no. I see a couple assholes in the story. But the people who are writing them, no. And there rarely are. There are a few, golden gooses that are out there, and I will find them. But for right now, it's clear. You are not the asshole. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and I bid you all adieu.